Thanks. Thanks, English. I would say it's a distinct honor for me to have a fireside chat with a person who I've admired for the past decade in the philanthropy and impact investment space. Ashish has made a mark on its own, not just what he does in India, but the impact that brings globally. I started working in Dalberg about 3 years ago, and one person, my global managing partner, said, "You should definitely meet," was this guy sitting next to me. So thanks for what all you do in philanthropy space, the kind of organizations you have incubated through Convergence Foundation. And more important to the conversation we're going to have today is the space of education, skills, innovation, entrepreneurship, which to my mind is the living bridge between West Asia and India, of the strategic partnerships which are being built, not just of the workers which are there in millions, but increasingly the skilled people who are coming to West Asia, investments going both sides of the borders, more startup community engaging with each other, looking for scale and growth. But what underpins all this is high quality education and skills. So I want to get your thoughts, Ashish, on how do you see this living bridge of education and skills between West Asia, the country we are sitting in, and India, and how we can grow this from where it is today, please.
No, thank you. So I agree with you that there's a huge potential cooperation in education. There are some small baby steps we're taking right now, but I think they are baby steps. I think the fact that we have an IIT Delhi campus here, IIM Ahmedabad now coming here, BITS Pilani, Manipal, Amity, etc. But the numbers are still small. So I think one is there's clearly an opportunity for more institutions to be here and vice versa. And this could be a sort of global hub. Right now, it's also mostly Indian students who are coming to the Dubai campus. Actually, the Dubai campus of an Indian institution should be leveraged to bring in students from the region, from Africa, from elsewhere. And I think UAE needs to work with India on making that happen. I think there is also a big opportunity for student exchange. I mean, one thought I've always had is, if we look at all the IITs we have, IIMs, etc. I mean, there's no reason students can't come for a short, 4-week summer program, which is when campuses are available. It's easy to host them across 30 to 40 leading institutions in India. And vice versa, we get a number of Indian students to come here. I think, and I'm talking about top students, and I think that will build genuine camaraderie. And this could be a funded program. We get people from both sides to fund this initiative. It doesn't cost that much money. And these could be named scholars, much like what the Fulbright and all these other things have done, and could start with short term, and for people who have a greater interest, they could go for a longer period of time. So I see that exchange is kind of minimal right now. If I look at the number of students who go to even CBSE schools in Dubai or the UAE that come to India, not that many come to top institutions in India. And I think we need to change that over a period of time.
Thank you. I think this idea of having student exchanges which are much more structured, making them a bit more pristine, putting a big name behind and making it more regularized to foster this cultural exchange. Students of today become leaders of tomorrow. And
America has done that really well.
Absolutely,
we need to learn from
absolutely. Them. And I would even say, in the last 3 decades, even U.S.-China bonding was strengthened to certain exchanges. So no, that's certainly an idea we should pursue. Maybe next time we meet, we should have some announcements on that. Second is the skills. If I remember correctly, recently you supported Gati Foundation on upskilling or reskilling workers who are coming to Middle East and beyond. And, this is part of not just the employment for those, but it's source of remittance, cultural exchange. And in this age of, verification, AI, what have you, how do you see this upskilling agenda or reskilling agenda and workers marry it with, digitalization, AI? What trends you see, and are we bit in a stress now as a country which sends skilled worker out?
No, I don't think we should look at it that way. I think India has such a large working age population that today we have many workers outside. We get 125 billion in remittances inwards. Our belief is that 125 billion can go to 300 billion in a decade. Wow. Okay? And historically, we got a lot of remittance from the GCC. Now, the Anglosphere, particularly America, has emerged, and higher skilled workers also as a source of remittance back to India. So we've done a good job tapping into these two markets. But I do think that there are some new markets. The continental Europe, there's a big backlash against immigration in general, but they also realize that demographics is not on their side. The whole OECD, is in demographic decline. They need workers. They don't want to do certain kinds of jobs. Who's going to work on their farms? Who's going to do construction? Who's going to work in a convenience store at night? Who's going to take care of the elderly? Who's going to work in healthcare? A number of areas. So we mapped this out quite rigorously across about 20 countries. And we think in continental Europe now, if you look at Germany, Germany has worked on a worker visa model. So 3 to 5 years, and then you come back home, right? And so this circular migration, I think, is good for India. And Germany, the chancellor was in India talking about 90,000 Indians going to Germany annually. Similarly with Japan, Japan now has 3.5 million migrants. South Korea has 2 million. It's only going to grow. They'll never give you citizenship there, but they want you there for a 3 or 5 year period of time. And to go to these countries, you have to be anyway skilled because so one of the things we've been working on, of course, MEA is signing G2G agreements. How do we do better skills harmonization so that if you get qualified in India, you can go to one of these 20 recipient countries? How do we create a better private sector ecosystem for skills and language training? So already since we started Gati, Quess, which is India's largest contract employer, is now getting into this business. TeamLease has gotten in. A number of entrepreneurs are getting in. So we are creating a consortium, a private sector consortium, and evangelizing this. But there is a business model here for the private sector. But in the Middle East market is not as remunerative because a lot of it has been low skill historically. Yeah. But if you're going to Germany or Japan or Korea or Italy, there is actually a nice financial sector initiative. The model works, the business model. So we are working a lot on Indian migration to continental Europe and East Asia, which I think are the new opportunities beyond GCC and the Anglosphere, and propagating this idea of circular migration. India will benefit because these people will be skilled at a different level, they'll get experience, and they will come back. I don't think it's a shame for us. It's actually going to benefit us long term.
Definitely. No, I'm intrigued by this circular mobility idea, and I think there would be different kind of issues related to when people come back, where they get absorbed, and I think we need to think about how we benefit from the skills they absorb from abroad and come back, and how we utilize and then keep this mill going for benefit of India and for our partner countries, because I think EU-India partnership is growing, and I think it's bound to grow similarly with East Asia, whether it's Korea, Japan, or Taiwan. Shifting gears a bit, at CIU, we hold this belief that digitalization and green are the two growth engines. You pick any sector of economy, you need to embed these two growth engines, and wherever they come together, digital and green, the growth amplifies. Given you also looked at both agendas much carefully, how do you see GCC India Connect or West Asia India Connect on the green side as well? With that, I mean climate technologies, clean tech supply chains. Currently West Asia is importing most of the climate technologies. India could provide that, with more investments coming from West Asia to India, with export coming to. So give me your views, how you see this sector emerging.
Yeah, so I think China did a great job leaning into climate tech early on, also leveraged the power of its domestic market to create the right incentives and also to procure using government or other means. I think India is starting to move policy in that direction, but we need to look at green and climate tech not just as Atmanirbhar, but actually as a huge global opportunity. These will be some of the largest sectors globally. They already are,
yes.
But if you roll the clock forward, 10 years, it's a huge opportunity. And so I think the policy instruments in India are quite good, but they need to be amplified further, recognizing that the TAM of this opportunity is in the trillions of dollars, not in the hundreds of billions of dollars.
True. No, thanks. Maybe I could put a bit of a shameless marketing plug. Cieu is also hosting Bharat Climate Forum on 9th of Jan. One of the key features of that forum is to expand Indian partnerships with countries in Europe, in East Asia, and also in West Asia to, if I could borrow this word from Ashwini ji, this is a Swadeshi in partnership. It's not Swadeshi just at home, but what we can do with our partners across the border. And I think, given the mitigation part of climate agenda, a CO2 molecule reduced here or there is the same effect. So I think, what we do in India would not just have economic benefits for India, but for emission reduction globally. And I salute the efforts Ashwini ji is leading in that regard as well, opening up this mindset that, we need to bring partners along, and very, very quickly, because the window is short. With that, let me ask you this, inherent in that is a manufacturing agenda. We see that strong impulse in EU doing domestic manufacturing. In US also may not be on climate, but overall there is a manufacturing impulse. Same in other countries. Do you see we have the kind of trained workforce in India, or can we move in that direction and go quickly so that we don't miss out this manufacturing growth agenda completely again?
So I was just talking to Ashwini ji about this. I think the new national manufacturing mission will be a big impetus. See, India's share of global trade in manufactured goods is only 1.8%. We have to get to 5% in the next, 7 to 10 years, and eventually get to 10% by 2040. There's no reason why India can't be competitive. Let's take different segments within manufacturing. There's labor-intensive manufacturing, garments, toys. China dominates in these areas. Some of it has moved out to Bangladesh, Vietnam, other places. I think with our new sort of labor code, labor laws getting better, creating some of the enabling conditions, we still have, I think, too high a minimum wage in some states, particularly the poorer states in India. But with the right incentives, and I think we should put, as opposed to a PLI, we need an ELI, employment-linked incentive, a wage subsidy, so that for the next 5 years, we're really competitive. There's no reason why India can't be more competitive than Bangladesh in garment manufacturing, as long as we have the FTAs with, or the trade agreements with EU, UK, US, which are the main markets. So that's labor intensive. And there, frankly, skill doesn't matter. Within 30 days on the shop floor, you can be trained.
Indeed.
There are certain higher value add areas within manufacturing where, again, you need higher skill. And those are, again, ones where, if you look at electronics assembly, when you talk to Foxconn, they tell you in 6 months a worker in India is as productive as a worker in China. So again, this is not rocket science. It is fairly straightforward to do so. Areas like semiconductor, of course, you need to build capacity in universities, which the mission is doing, and METI and the minister are very aware of that. So I think huge opportunity in manufacturing. I'm very positive on it. And I think the next 10 years, you'll see India emerge as a manufacturing powerhouse.
No, I share your optimism there. We have analyzed opportunities of partnership between West Asia and India, including on critical mineral recycling, which could happen here for the scale required in India. So there are many opportunities which could drive Indian manufacturing. Last question, Ashish, and maybe I'll ask something a bit personal. You know, you've been a successful investor. You're running a private equity firm, but you are a major philanthropist yourself. What is your source of energy and inspiration? What drives you?
No, what drives me is I think that we are privileged to be in, I always say that for 250 years, we had the rise of the West, right? And this colonialism era where we all fell behind. China, India were the largest economies in the world for the longest time. And I think this next era of the 21st century, the story is the rise of the rest. You know, why should only 1 billion people prosper? Why shouldn't the other 7 billion prosper and have the same quality of life as the 1 billion? And obviously, some countries have started to emerge faster. I think India, the Viksit Bharat agenda is an agenda that points in that direction. So what gives me energy is I'm going to turn 57 soon. At Viksit Bharat, hopefully I'll still be alive. And the thing that will give me the most source of satisfaction is if we all have played some small role in making India a developed nation, creating more balanced growth in India, creating more jobs, higher productivity jobs, and that we can be a competitive nation and be a contributor to the global ecosystem, both economically, politically, and culturally.
Thank you. Now you are a source of inspiration to many, many more leaders like you who are trying to follow in your footsteps. Guys, maybe I'll open it up if somebody wants to have a question, or we will break for lunch. I think good. Everybody wants to have lunch. All right. Thank you very much, Ashish. What is the line?